Let's talk about iPhone apps. Hello, my name is Roland K. Smith. I'm a social media manager and digital content creator. As a social media manager, a lot of the work that I do is on my smartphone. In fact, some days I get away with just working on my smartphone. So today, what I want to do is share with you the top 5 apps that I use as a social media manager. Now, I'm not going to mention the social media platforms as apps themselves. That would be ridiculous. But these are the apps that I find very handy on a day-to-day basis. Now, I use an iPhone. It's just me. I prefer an iPhone. I've used Android phones in the past. I've enjoyed them, but I found that just for reliability, it's the iPhone for me. But a lot of these apps are available on Android, so if you're rocking a Samsung or a Pixel or a OnePlus, whatever, you'll be able to find some sort of equivalent app. But before I get into it, please like this video, subscribe to the channel, it'll help me out a whole bunch. Okay, the first app is Canva. Now this is probably the most obvious, so let's just get it out of the way. Canva is an excellent, very intuitive graphic design tool. If, like me, you've grown frustrated with the steep learning curve and sort of convoluted way of working on Photoshop, Canva is a real gift. Now, I am not a professional graphic designer, but I do have to do a lot of graphics in my job, so I use Canva every day. Now, not only is Canva incredibly intuitive, it offers a lot of intelligent guidance. So all of your elements and your text will line up really nicely, you can center things easy, you get great color palettes available to you, it saves you time, and it allows the technical aspects of graphic design to get out of the way so you can just get on with your work. Now, I use Canva to create the thumbnails for my YouTube videos. I sometimes use Canva to create graphics to go in my videos, and I use it every day for my Instagram account. But there is heaps that this app can do. I've created and printed my business cards on there. You can do flyers, you can create little animations, posters, the list just goes on. I do find that it can be a little bit buggy sometimes, and the mobile app doesn't have all the features of the desktop app, so sometimes I have to start the job on mobile and then jump over to the desktop app just to finish it off, so that's a little bit annoying. Canva's closest competitor is probably Adobe Spark, which I've also used a lot. Spark's good. Spark's good. I think that Canva has more interesting features, and thumbs up for being an Australian company. Next up, Facebook's Creator Studio. Now, if you are posting on Facebook as a page and you're doing it from a mobile, you've got to be using Facebook Creator Studio. It's actually one of Facebook's nicer looking apps. It doesn't do a lot, but what it does do, it does well. I use it to post videos on Facebook if I'm posting from a mobile app because it lets me change the thumbnail. It's also really good for scheduling posts. Those are pretty simple things, but it's the only app that I know of that will let you do that, in the Facebook ecosystem at least. The Facebook Creator Studio also provides some of the better analytics of any of the Facebook apps, and it's pretty easy to navigate as well. So it's not an app that I use a lot or spend a lot of time in, but I'm glad that it's there. The next app is Lightroom. Lightroom is a very powerful professional photo app from Adobe. I edit almost all of my photos that appear on social media. Sometimes I'm just doing a little bit of a crop or a straighten, and sometimes I'm doing much more exposure adjustments or color corrections or all sorts of things. And Adobe Lightroom is where I do that. If you're shooting RAW, this is an app for you. In fact, with the little SD to Lightning Reader dongle, I can transfer photos straight from my mirrorless camera into my phone, into Lightroom. I can edit up the photo and I can post it to social media, or I can pop it in Dropbox and send it off to a client. Of course, you don't just have to edit RAW photos, you can edit JPEGs and HEX as well, so it's very versatile. There are a lot of really good photo editors out there, VSCO, Darkroom, Snapseed, and they'll all do similar things. But the reason that I like Lightroom is that I think that the way that it edits is really nice. So for example, if I'm editing the highlights in an image, I think that Lightroom does a really good job of bringing those highlights down and softening them while still making it look really natural. I also like that Lightroom is a cloud library for my images, so I can back them all up, then I have access to them on all my devices, and I can also save presets and other things like that. So again, I can just, wherever I am, with whatever device I have, I know that I can create a great photo. The next app is the Notes app. Boring, right? Wrong! Not boring. No, it's kind of boring, but it's super handy. My Notes app is a mess and I don't give a damn. It's full of just sort of little ideas, lists, to-do lists, shopping lists, content lists. I've got draft tweets in there, draft scripts. It's just out of my brain and onto the paper. And I don't care that it's a mess because the search function is really good. So I can just type in a keyword of something that I'm looking for and bang, the note pops up and there it is. It doesn't just do notes either. You can also use it to scan documents or scan images, turn them into JPEGs or PDFs. That's a really helpful feature as well. It's just an all-around handy little app. I have other writing apps. I use Bear for my YouTube script and LinkedIn articles. And I also use Ulysses for an ebook that I'm writing. But for ugly, get the idea on the page. Nothing beats the Notes app. If you're on Android, I think Google Keep is probably pretty similar, and that's also a really good app that I've used in the past, but there'd be a whole bunch out there. The next app is Gmail. Okay, I have spent so many hours on Reddit and YouTube researching the perfect email app, and if you are at the beginning of your search, let me save you a bit of time. There is no perfect email app, but it comes down to this. If you have a Gmail account, use the Gmail app. It works well enough, it's a fairly consistent experience in the browser, and it does everything that you need an email client to do. It also integrates really well with the rest of the Google apps, so if you're using Drive, Docs, or Chrome, Gmail is going to work for you as well. It's a fairly clean and uncluttered experience, and look, I don't use email for anything particularly sophisticated. I send an email, sometimes I send an email with an attachment. That's about as sophisticated as I get, but it works. The Apple Mail app is okay. I think it's also pretty clean, and I would like to use it, but the problem is that if you have a Gmail account, you're not getting notifications in real time. So that's an issue. And for some reason, and this seems like an oversight to me more than anything else, you can't attach documents to replied emails. Now, I've used email apps from Airmail, Spark, Edison, Newton, Outlook, and there are things I like about them all, but for ease of use and reliability, Gmail is the winner for me. Okay, so that's it of the list of my top 5 apps that I use every day as a social media manager. So there's no app that makes me more creative or sell more products or reach more followers or anything like that. All of that is entirely up to me. These apps let me create what I need to create and communicate the way I need to communicate. They're not my favorite apps in the world, but I'm glad they're there. Okay, that's it for this video. Until the next one, keep doing what you're doing.